Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, it is Tuesday, but it's not just any Tuesday. It is the first Tuesday of the new year. Welcome, everyone, to Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. It is January 2nd. We are 2 days into the new year, and I don't look any different. So here we go. Let's get it rolling. As always, I am never alone. I'm Nick Rosario, of course, and yeah, I think I'm funny. But we have a special guest with us this week, so we'll introduce him first. You've seen him on the program before, but we're glad we got him on tonight. Mr. Kyle Yacey. Kyle, how are you doing in this fabulous new year, sir?
You know, it's the start of 2024. I'm definitely feeling a little under the weather, but I'm here, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So I'm happy to be here, guys.
we appreciate that, sir. And yeah, you almost stole Anthony's line. Not quite, but it was there. It was close. It's okay, though. You're the guest. He can't get mad. It's all good. Delilah.
Okay.
Delilah up in the corner. I'm just going in order from how I see everyone. So,
all right.
Delilah, how are you, darling? How's the new year? How's it going? How we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back on the show. I know it's been a while since everybody's been on at the same time.
Yeah,
you know, holidays
exactly.
and everything. So it's good to be here. I almost stole Anthony's catchphrase there again, but hello, 20. I'm glad I'm just here for 2024. I'm excited.
Yeah.
To be here with everybody. I'm glad Kyle could join us. And so, yeah, I'm ready to talk some football.
Sounds
Awesome.
good. Tina Winter, how are we doing? I know you're a little under the weather yourself, but how you feeling? How's it going?
It's good. It's nice to be able to get on with you guys and talk a little football and do all of that. So, it gave me something to look forward to. I know I said I might not get on, but I was like, you know what? I'm getting on. I'll just mute if I start coughing or sneezing or anything like that. So
I'm the same way. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So don't worry.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody just muted. No, just kidding. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, always number one in our hearts, Anthony Handy, who actually ate his dinner before the show so he wouldn't drop it on the floor again. Anthony, how are we doing in the new year, buddy? How's it going?
Actually, my plan must have kicked in as soon as I hit the stroke of midnight because I could not finish my potato. As you can see, I've still got plenty of potato. That's a monster, bro.
That's a big potato, bro.
That's a
we
monster.
can stop that up tomorrow, make eggs and hash browns or something. What's going on over there?
Well, you had to understand, this is day 3 of this potato. I got it on Friday. I started on it. I ate it. I took another whack at it tonight, and I still can't get it. But hey, it is what it is. So I'll have to get on the scale. Maybe that means I lost a little bit of weight. Merry New Year to everyone, and I am very happy.
Potato. It's the same, right?
And there it is. And now we can officially start the show because we're all happy to be here. It is January, like I said, January 2nd. The new year is upon us, 2024. And as always, we always start with a coin toss, of course. So let's just do that like we always do. Go ahead. Let's start it off. Thank you for that. Of course. Well, we are going to do things a little differently than what you're used to with us. We always kind of do segmented things and all that. But it's pretty much one segment today because there's so much to get to. We have playoff talk. And let me tell you, going through all the scenarios here in this last week 18 has really made my head spin, guys. There is a lot going on. So let's just jump into it. We'll start with the AFC. So what we got right now, 4 teams have officially clinched. Number 1 seed is the Baltimore Ravens, of course. We got Kansas City, Cleveland, and Miami who have officially clinched spots. Now, here's where it gets convoluted. Let's go with the easy one first. All Buffalo has to do to clinch the AFC East is win. That's all you got to do. And Buffalo would be the AFC East champion. But now here's the funny one. Just to clinch a playoff spot, so meaning if they don't win the division, this is how they can still get into the playoffs. With a Buffalo tie or a Pittsburgh loss or tie or a Jacksonville loss or tie or a Houston and Indy tie. Now, to me right there, that's a lot of stuff. So my point would be just win and get in because there's too much tie, this, tie, that. But, Kyle, we'll start with you, man. Buffalo's really had an up and down season. They got a lot of, but I guess it doesn't matter how you start. It's always how you finish. What do you think this week?
I don't know. So who's Buffalo playing in their final game right now?
Well, yeah, hold on. I had that. Miami, thank you. I had that. Yeah, Miami. It's Buffalo, so Miami this week.
Miami right now. That's a tough one because Buffalo is really hot or not. It's really weird because they have all the makings to be like a Super Bowl contending team and to go all the way, but they always seem to fall off. And it's really hard because you look at the team as a whole and you're like, well, what's going on? Like, why isn't it rolling? Like, why aren't they rolling? Why aren't they making it to the Super Bowl? They make it so far, but what is it? For the longest time, people said, oh, it's the running back. Wow, obviously not now. You have Cook there and Cook's cooking, So, what is it now at this point? And I'm going to go off on maybe like a hot take here, but maybe it's the coach. Maybe Sean McDermott isn't doing it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. But ultimately, no, Buffalo's they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win. Okay. Well, either way, even if they don't win this game, they're making the playoffs.
Okay.
But so you're asking Buffalo, Miami. That's a tough one. I'm going to say Buffalo just because Miami should win and Buffalo's going to win it.
Okay. Fair enough. Delilah, I'm going to come to you next because this is to me, an interesting scenario because the Houston Texans, of all teams, with a rookie quarterback, right, to me, and a rookie coach.
I love him.
Everybody loves DeMeco Ryan, don't they? Right. Everybody loves DeMeco. But Delilah, the Texans can actually clinch the AFC South title with a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie. What do you think of that, Delilah?
I think that's awesome. I feel like it's Texas, they're due, right? They're due. They've been like the laughing stock. They've been one of the laughing stock, the last, I don't know how many seasons, the Deshaun Watson fiasco that they had to deal with, getting rid of him. And so it's just like, they always had talented players. They could just never get it together. And so I think this is actually really cool. I hope they make it. It'll be interesting to see I like seeing underdogs make the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's always fun to see those Cinderella stories.
I agree.
So I hope they make it. Honestly, I do hope they make the playoffs, and I hope they ruffle some feathers. I like when that happens.
Delilah, you touched on something too, Nick. I just wanted to add to this. It's definitely a year, and this is why it's so fun right now with this, this whole standings with this year. It's literally the year of the underdog, where there's a potential that the Houston Texans, the Cleveland Browns, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, these bottom-feeding teams that have been the bottom feeders for so long, actually have a chance to go and do some damage. I love it. I honestly love it.
But the Texans are playing Indy. So you're having two underdog teams play each other, and whoever wins kicks the other one out. So that's why this game's so important. And I'm going to go, in my mind, I got to go the Colts. Minshew has got that team rolling right now. So we'll see what happens. But I agree with you. I think the Texans were a phenomenal team to watch this year, and they are much further ahead than what they needed to be. So, but
true.
It just kind of sucks that it's going to come down to two teams that both should be in, but then it goes down through this person beat this person, they might be able to get in with a wild card. So,
that's the other part of it. You're right. And the Texans, they can actually, that was just to win the AFC South title. They need a win and Jacksonville to lose or tie. But to clinch a playoff berth, they need to win, of course, or tie, and have Jacksonville lose and Pittsburgh lose. So there's obviously a tiebreaker with Pittsburgh there that they have to lose for them to get in. So that's an important
thing. Sorry, Nick.
Hold on. Crap.
Hold on. Honestly, their game has heavy weight for a long time.
They're playing the Ravens. They're
The
playing
Ravens.
Okay, so
Baltimore.
Pittsburgh's not
They're
winning.
not going to win.
Yeah, no,
No.
Pittsburgh's not winning.
Well, you know what though? Baltimore has nothing to play for. What do you think? I don't know. Does Baltimore kind of just take it easy, or do they take Pittsburgh
I
out?
think so.
I wouldn't.
Nah.
I don't know. Well, Pittsburgh is, but the thing, if it was in Pittsburgh, I think they wouldn't care. But when it's always
It's
like that
Pittsburgh.
division, right? That's the problem. I think
Yeah.
if they were playing any other team week 18, then I think Baltimore would rest everyone because they're already clinched. They have the number 1 seed. It doesn't matter, right? We know they're gonna have the number 1 seed going in. They get the bye week, so I think that's the only reason they're gonna go hard week 18, only because of who they're playing. If it was any other team, then I would say that they'll rest everyone. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
Because remember, the Ravens are the old Browns team. So there's
Yeah.
always
Yep.
that rivalry that
Yeah.
they just
Oh,
moved.
yeah.
They just call them a different name. So
yeah,
Yeah, true.
that's really the
But yeah,
issue there. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. It's so handy. As we were talking about, the flip side to this Houston Texans puzzle is the Colts. Now they can clinch the AFC South title with a win and the Jacksonville loss or tie, or if they tie and Jacksonville loses. So that's the way that they can win the AFC South. But now their playoff berth is a win or a tie, and of course a Pittsburgh loss or tie. So are you on this? Are you in agreement with everybody else about the Colts beating Houston, or what do you think here, Handy, on this Colts opportunity to get into the playoffs?
I didn't say the Colts would be Houston.
Yeah, me either. For the record, I'm Houston. I'm Team Houston the whole way.
I'm just trying to stir the pot a little bit. That's all. I'm just saying, That's why I want to hear what Anthony has to say. I didn't tell him Anthony, what he got.
I was gonna come on the break and say I cannot as a born and bred Georgia Bulldogs fan root for a professional football franchise that drafted a quarterback from the University of Florida. I know he's been hurt and I know he's not playing, but he got drafted. Now next year the feud is over, but right now he's still in his rookie season. So I'm rooting for Houston to win this game. Actually, I got nothing but respect for CJ Stroud because he seemed to carry himself. He almost played this season with a chip on his shoulder because he played at Ohio State. He could, you know how Ohio State can't seem to get past Michigan, and then they lost. They lost to some team from the SEC in the college football playoffs. I forgot who that is. It'll come back to me who it was in a minute. But you know, the kid has been. I mean, he's been showing people. Hey, look, y'all gave Bryce Young all the love.
Mm-hmm.
We here. Like everybody thought Bryce Young was gonna come in and the Panthers were gonna be playing for the NFC South. The NFC South Division championship.
No.
I never thought that.
I never thought that either.
I didn't say
They're
y'all.
more delusional than
I didn't say nobody on this panel because we actually use more than 10% of our brain.
You're right. So. You're right. Actually, we did better than the analysts. You're right.
They were talking about, boy, this kid's gonna come in and he's gonna do great things in Carolina, and I'm going, no, he's good. They ain't.
The rest of the team.
Right, they're not. They gave us their best receiver for that pick. They gave us their best receiver. They had nothing going in.
Right. So in order for him to take that team to the playoffs, he would have to hike the ball to himself. Then he would have to put the ball down, run out, block the guy running in the back. Then he had to run back, pick the ball up, and then he'd have to run out down the field and throw the ball to himself and catch it. Like that's what he would have to do. It's a Herculean.
He already has trouble reaching the ball though. Like whenever it's hiked, he's already there.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean? Like
somebody cracked the short joke. I was waiting for it. There it is.
Yeah, there we go. There it is.
I'm definitely jokes aside. I think the Texans are going to take this one. I mean, I think the Colts have been a great upstart, but Gardner Minshew at some point is going to Gardner Minshew.
100%.
Okay.
Okay.
Not to mention that sometime between last season and this season, he went from looking like John Holmes to Jesus Christ, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not quite okay with that. Like last season,
like a Wish version of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like he looked like an extra in a bad '70s adult film, and now this,
Yeah.
which is sad. And now he grew it out like he just wants to say, "Take and eat, all of you. This is my body, which has been given up for you." You know what I mean?
So you're saying he was born
Embrace the
again? Is that what you're
Jesus
saying, Andy?
Christ.
Right.
I don't.
Superstar.
I have no idea. But Gardner Minshew,
Born
still go to
again?
Gardner Minshew. Just like eventually you can have Fitzmagic out there, and he'll win you 16 games, and on the 17th game he'll lose that game. Just because that's what they do. That's what they do. Now I'm not. So I going with the Texans.
All right, going with the Texans. That's fine. Again, hey, what I missed that comment. Who was that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's a
Oh,
Facebook
yeah, I was
user.
Facebook user.
Okay.
That's probably
Hey, Kyle, I know that guy. Yes.
I'm
Kyle
gonna
has
take a
decided
Ben
to
Chase
join
my
us.
fiance watch, guarantee it, without me even looking. Like, hey, Kyle, I know that guy.
Well, yeah, everybody say hi to Kyle's fiance. Hi, Kyle. What is her name sir, again?
Taylor.
Hi,
Taylor, that's right.
Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. How we doing? Yes, we stole your fiance for about an hour or so. Don't worry, we'll give him back. We promise.
Oh,
It's all
no,
good.
that's fine. She's doing her own thing. She's on the other end of the house right now.
There we go. All right, so obviously Miami has clinched a playoff spot, but they can clinch the AFC East title with just a win. So that Miami Buffalo game becomes even more important for seeding in terms of Miami getting a better seed by winning the division. So a lot on that game. And let's get to here's a real this is a team that needs everything to happen. The Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Who, again, it was an 18th season in a row now. Mike Tomlin has had a winning record. This guy managed, I don't know how, with the quarterbacks he had this year, and Mason Rudolph having to get thrown in the last game, but somehow the Steelers can still make the playoffs. And here's how, ladies and gentlemen. They have to win, of course, and Buffalo has to lose, or Pittsburgh wins and Jacksonville loses or ties. Pittsburgh wins and Houston and Indy tie, or Pittsburgh ties, Jacksonville loses, and Houston and Indy doesn't end in a tie. Which, whatever. I have a question for the fellow Nicholas. Okay, who is this? What is your question, Facebook user? I'll be happy to answer it if I know what it is. I promise.
Oh, I just look. It's Alex Schomburg. We do know him.
Oh, well, hello, Alex. Absolutely. Well, Alec, please type your question in, Alec, and we'll gladly answer it. But while we wait for your question, so again, Pittsburgh, with all of these scenarios here that they have to go through, obviously they have to win first. Then they need some help. They need Miami to beat Buffalo. They need Jacksonville to lose or tie. There's a lot here. Do we even give the Pittsburgh, and I'll throw this out to all of you, do we even give Pittsburgh a chance this weekend to make the playoffs, or what do we think, guys?
No, not even close.
The only reason I want the wins only because I like Mike Tomlin. I swear that's the only reason I root for the Steelers. It's not because I hate them. I'm not like that either. Steel Town. Like, I feel like Chicago and Steelers always had an affinity because of blue collar towns type of thing. But I love Mike Tomlin. I love him. I'm still upset from a while back, when the former Super Bowl quarterback was like, oh, it's coaching. I still take offense to that whole podcast.
Coaching.
Or Mr. Ben questioned, the coaching over there. And so, but as the only, honestly, I do really think Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. I want people to think about that. With whatever team he has, even at the end when Big Ben was hobbling, right, when he could barely move, move his spine, he somehow, some way, shape, or form, that man, as soon as he hears, hey, you're going to have a losing season, I feel like that just motivates him to be like, nah, it's not going to happen. He's like...
not only that, Delilah, think about this. He has done that in the same time, in the same league with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Who has won more Super Bowls than he has.
Yeah.
And I think Belichick is the only other super long tenured coach in the league right now. But I mean,
he's had some good coaches there. Like Ryan has coached in that division. Like you've had some other guys, Parcells has coached in that division. And Tomlin still always comes out on top. So, Andy Reid. It's hard to argue with all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I can answer this one.
Okay, so what is it? It says, which team do you want to trade with for the number one pick since Justin Fields is the quarterback? and what kind of trade would you like pick-wise, for example?
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll answer it first, and Kyle, if you want to chime in, that's fine.
Sure.
If I'm the Bears, I'm like, no, I am going to pillage anybody who wants that number 1 pick. I want 3 first-rounders. I don't care. Because I tell you what, how many teams need a quarterback in this draft? Somebody's going to want a deal. Somebody is absolutely going to want a deal for that first pick. And I say you take them for all you can. 3 first-rounders. You got to. You just have to. And if they say no, they say no. But I guarantee you'll find somebody who'd be willing to do that, because the quarterback play in the NFL this year was really up and down with a lot of teams.
Nah,
and a lot
Nick,
of teams
don't be diplomatic with garbage.
No, but I'm saying though, like my point is, you still get 14 teams to make the playoffs, so you got 14 decent quarterbacks at the least. So that just leaves the other 18 that suck. No, but I'm just saying, like the point is,
and
there's a ton of teams that need quarterbacks
in Atlanta.
I think for sure he goes to Atlanta, 100%.
You think so? The Bears deal with Atlanta, you think, huh?
Absolutely. Like, if he's going to go anywhere, I think he's going to Atlanta. I think it'll be for 2 first rounds and then maybe like a 3rd round for the 3rd year.
Look,
and then honestly,
I got you, Kyle. Chicago, we will give y'all not only 3 first rounders, we will give you the keys to Magic City and the recipe to the magic chicken wings that everybody keep getting in trouble for going down. I would just go for the chicken wings.
Yeah.
We will tell you the secret to how T.I. became a millionaire selling money down in East Point. And y'all can have Arthur Smith. And y'all can have Arthur Blank. And y'all can have whatever that bad rapper is that come out of Atlanta. Y'all can have all of that. We give you all of it. Just give us Justin.
Well, here's the thing. So you guys, again, I know.
Bijan?
Right. Well, yeah, we want to be. Yeah. What do we say? Give us Bijan Robinson.
That won't happen. That's like a 0%.
But I'm just saying. But here's my point, though. My whole point to this is like, I get the Atlanta thing, and obviously Justin Fields would probably be a good fit for you guys. You desperately need a quarterback. I get that. But given what's happened in the last 6 or 7 weeks in Chicago, I gotta hope and I gotta imagine that we're not giving Justin Fields up in his 4th year. So that's probably not going to happen there, boys. But
personally,
go ahead.
If they do give Justin Fields up, if Chicago gives Justin Fields up, I'm going to say this right now, mark my words, that will be the dumbest trade in Chicago history. I think personally they need to keep him by far.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still the Cubs trading Ernie Broly. No, the dumbest trade in Chicago will always be in baseball when the Cubs traded Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio. That's still the worst trade ever made by any team in any professional sport. So we'll just leave that one alone. But I get what you're saying.
I know who Lou Brock is. Y'all traded Lou Brock for somebody that sound like a
pasta dish at the Olive Garden. Yeah, Ernie Broglio. They serve that on Sundays at Olive Garden.
Thank you, Alec. No, I hope you had a nice season as well.
Absolutely. I hope you're enjoying everything you're doing. I think you moved recently, so I hope everything is going well for you. I think you moved to Florida, correct? Did he not move to Florida? I'm not sure. Alec is a very quiet, mild-mannered, spoken man, so I never know, what Alec is. Right? He's always he's reserved. But
until you trash talk the Bucks.
What's that?
Until you trash talk the Bucks. That he's not
quiet. Right. Then he gets mad. Or if you trash talk Oregon.
There you go. You're right. He moved to Jacksonville.
Yeah, moved to Jacksonville. Right. Okay. Now, so are you converting to the Jaguars? Or you're going to stick with Tampa Bay? Just kidding. I know the answer. Just messing with you. All right. Well, let's move on to the let's move on to the very convoluted NFC because there's a lot.
Hold on a second, though. I think we need to talk about the Jacksonville game because all those scenarios. Yeah, they're playing the Titans.
Yeah,
that's what
Jacksonville is going to lose to the Titans.
No.
Well, you know what? My thing is, and I'm going to be real honest about this since you brought it up, Miss Tina. Jacksonville has extremely disappointed me this year. I honestly thought this division wasn't even going to be in question by like week 14 or 15. And here we are in week 18 talking about how Jacksonville can still not win the division if they lose. That's
but
to me
playing the Titans.
To me, it does. Hey, any given Sunday, come on, Tina. Any given Sunday, it doesn't matter if they can play a high school team and lose. I'm just saying, like it's just to me, this is just a disappointing year for Jacksonville personally because I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I like Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk. Like I like Doug Peterson. Like I like the Jaguars as a team, and I just think they really underperformed a lot this year. I know they had a couple injuries. Lawrence did go down for a couple games, but I mean, it's still to me like this division should not have been in question at all. And here we are in the last week talking about, and I am glad you brought it up. I apologize for overlooking that a little bit. Yeah, Jacksonville has just really, to me, been a little disappointing. And again, they have to win, obviously, to win the division and all that. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on Jacksonville?
I agree with you. I think they were very disappointing this year. But let's look at who they're playing. They're playing the Titans, which outside Derrick Henry isn't that great of a team. They've had ups and downs, and they've only won the games they weren't supposed to win. So, I think Will Levis will be better next year. But I also think if Jacksonville does win and they win the division, they're a one-and-done team because
agreed.
of way they've been playing. But
so you don't think?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No, go ahead.
I was going to say many of those scenarios where Jacksonville lost, Jacksonville lost.
Yeah,
so if Jacksonville wins,
right? That's what I said. Then it cuts out all the other teams. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I completely disagree. Honestly, I think if Jacksonville was playing like. If they were playing Will Levis has been an absolute stud ever since he got the start. Oh man, before he was injured, the guy was making completions. He was unreal. But I think the fact that Ryan Tannehill is playing is why Jacksonville wins. I don't care who Jacksonville puts in. They can put in their third string quarterback, and I still think they beat Ryan Tannehill. 100%.
No, I get it. I mean, I get that. The only thing, the reason, Tina, I was gonna make a bad joke. I'm gonna say, you don't think Herman Boone would have his team ready to play on Sunday? The Titans? You know, get that? No, everybody got that? No, okay.
No.
I got it.
Right. Okay, good.
You dropped.
I'm not as funny with my jokes. That's what happened.
Don Brown hind parts, and then
that's right. Your hind parts. That's right. Exactly. But all right. So I apologize. Jacksonville is probably important to talk about. Thank you, Tina, for correcting me on that one. All right, so now let's move on to the NFC because this one is extremely convoluted in a lot of ways. And I'm just going to start with our two Falcons fans, but we know there's 5 teams that have clinched already playoff spots. And then there's other scenarios for division titles, but the 49ers are the 1 seed, of course. Lions are in, Cowboys are in. How about them Cowboys? Rams and Eagles are all officially in. Just some seeding issues over there. How about them Cowboys? All right. Good, yeah, no, but we won't. If Janae's watching, we're sorry because it might get ugly in here with the cowboy talk. But anyways, all right. So let's just start with this because it's the first thing I wrote down because I really wanted to get the opinion of our favorite guys, Kyle, our favorite Falcons fans, Kyle and Handy. You guys, after all of this, after the year you've had and how we've heard you guys, well, I know we've heard Handy every week, Kyle. We haven't heard you talk every week about this, but I know you got a lot to say. The Falcons can actually clinch the NFC South with a win and a Tampa Bay loss. How is that possible, and what is going on there, guys? Let's hear it.
The NFC South. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go. You go, Handy. You go first. It's all good.
I will make it as plain and as simple as I possibly can, and I had to rein in Cat Williams because he was about to come out and rant. The NFC South tastes like some booty hole paper. The NFC, it tastes like. Did I say taste like? The NFC
booty hole paper?
The NFC South is some booty hole paper.
Okay.
For me to make that statement would indicate that I know what booty hole paper tastes like, and I know that's
and it chances it'll happen.
Nah, I just go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah. So here, 2 scenarios. Falcons win. I think Arthur Smith should get fired, regardless. Falcons lose. Arthur Smith still gets fired. Either way, I think Arthur Smith should get fired. Now, the Falcons, if they were to go and win this game, like, it makes no sense. Like, sure, I know you want to play to win. Like, no team goes out there to just to tank. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do in the NFL. Fair enough. Right. But what are you doing? Like, all you're gonna do is hurt your draft capital at that point. Like, we already know Desmond Ridder isn't the guy. We know we're not gonna run with Taylor Heineke more than a backup. What's the point now at this point? So, yeah, no, I think, first of all, regardless if the Falcons want to win it, I think the Saints still win. I think the Saints beat us. I hate saying that, but there's no point to it. Like, we need an overhaul. We have very good pieces on our team. It's just it was bad coaching, bad management decisions, and we need to get rid of our, like, to be quite honest, we need to get rid of our owner, our head coach, and we need to get rid of our quarterback. So us winning this game, we have no business doing that. And personally, I want him out. I want him out. I want Ritter out, and I want to continue with the rebuild because we've made a lot of good moves. Like, we have a solid running duo now. So that's fine. Wide receiver, we're good there too. Yeah. Like, tight end, Kyle Pitts is still like on average, a little bit below average. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm super pessimistic about the Falcons right now. So
very.
I have a question, real quickly. A legitimate question. Is it Ritter, or is just that they don't have a system for him? I'm being cautious because I remember, again, the past few seasons, that's been the same conversation about Justin, even though I don't agree. But is it Ritter? Is he the problem, or is it just the system he's in? Like, do you really want to just throw him away like that? Like, you know what I mean?
The two-headed dragon. They're both the issue. Like, one doesn't outweigh the other, in my opinion. Ritter is an issue, and Arthur Smith is an issue. Like, and I would say, like, they're equally the issue right now at the point. Like, you can't fix one without getting rid of the other.
Literally.
I just don't know. You like want to just throw away your, rookie quarterback so quickly. That's all.
Right. He's still on his rookie deal, Kyle. No.
Well, that's exactly it. It's a rookie deal, though. That's the point. Is to see if it works out. It's like you're going to play football with training wheels, right? We took off the training wheels. Guess what? You got to go back on the training wheels.
Well, not only that, you get guys that come in on their rookie deal, and some of those guys are literally, after spending their rookie the portion of their rookie deal with a team like Atlanta has been, they're not the same no matter where they go. You could take them and put them, like, you could probably take Ritter right now and put him in San Francisco, and he'd be sitting on the bench after a couple of games. He might be sitting after a couple of quarters.
I honestly think that people should learn from. I'm gonna throw up a little bit in my mouth saying this, but they gotta learn from Green Bay. Because the reason, and it proves the point, because look at Jordan Love, right? I never hated the guy, and I remember people wanted him gone, and I'm like, bro, he never played a full season. He's not a rookie, but he's playing. But you're not going to start Jordan Love over Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't make any sense. Right. But their system for handing on the baton to the next quarterback is unmatched, to me, in my opinion. And I feel like that's who people should learn from. I think that they should look at the way they make sure, because remember, Aaron was upset when they picked Jordan Love, but it's because they're like, we're not going to start him yet, but he's going to be behind you for like 3 seasons before we start him. And I feel like that makes the most sense to me, is to draft your future while you still have a capable quarterback that could lead the team. You know what I mean? Like, that makes the most sense to me. And I don't know why more teams don't follow that formula, because it just makes hella sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I'm just saying that it's surprising to me that not more teams follow that, because it makes sense to me, right? I don't know.
I get it. Go ahead, Andy. What were you going to say?
In order to do that, though, Delilah, you have to have one of two things in place. You either have to have a very good coaching staff, or you have to have a front office that knows what they're doing. And Atlanta has neither.
Right. No, I agree with that part. No, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, owners, right.
You got to talking about that. When was Favre drafted? Favre was drafted in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Early 90s by early 90s
early 90s.
92? 92, 93? 93, something like that.
So you're talking about a franchise that's had three starting quarterbacks in 30 years. And that is impressive.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Green Bay also good or mediocre. I don't think they've ever been really bad on that time frame. Good or mediocre.
Not in the last 30 years they haven't, right? But
Green Bay has maintained that same business model, and they've tweaked it a little bit here and there to make it work when it didn't
91. Thank you, Sean.
And thank you, Sean. And and that's the thing. Atlanta just does not have that. If Atlanta had the same type of
I forgot that Atlanta draft.
No, I knew that Atlanta drafted him, but yeah, I just didn't remember the year.
Mr. Spencer, Mr. Spencer, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
For
that.
rubbing it in more, right? Thank you for rubbing it in.
Right there.
Dagger.
Right. You know how sometimes when it get real hot and your skin crack right there on your elbow, Sean, is just right there with the salt. Just,
Hey, Sean, where's Washington drafting again? I believe it's second overall right now. Is that where
Kyle
they're at, Sean?
Fired.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
Shots fired.
We can
Shots
look at the mock
fired.
draft right now, Sean, if you want.
Oh,
Shots
no.
fired. Shots fired. Kyle comes on and just blows it up. Happy New Year, Sean. Take that.
Don't love
There
Sean,
you
I
go.
promise.
But I was going to tack on to what Delilah was saying too.
Yeah,
Is like,
good.
I think with Green Bay, what they're doing with the quarterback is the old school mentality.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you bring
yeah.
somebody in, you keep them underneath, you're training them
Yes.
for a couple of years, and you get them ready to go. The thing is so many teams now are run like a business,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's you get
You're right.
a year, 2 years. And if it makes more sense to cut him, because
Yeah.
I looked it up, Ritter's only getting $1.2 million a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They'll earn that in advertising, and so it doesn't make any sense to keep him. Unlike my team, who's going to be paying our guy $87 million over the next 2 years to play for someone else. So, I mean, I think that's the thing. Too many teams are, one, not holding on to people they don't work out, and two, because Delilah and I have talked about this, is the square peg in a round hole. You get a coach who wants his system done and can't figure out how to adapt it to fit the guy that's working for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it becomes this thing, and then that follows that player for years down the line. And it's so fast. It's like fix. And I get you guys' frustration. I really do with Atlanta. And I'm not saying Ritter's any good. I'm just saying, like, I just didn't understand. Like, you have Bijan. Why aren't you playing him more?
But that's coaching. That's coaching team. That's the whole point. It's coaching.
Yeah.
It's coaching, and we have a quarterback that's like inaccurate. He can't throw. Like he can throw, but he can't throw accurately, right?
Right. So here's me going for the head coaching position. So that's why you have Bijan in there running it most of the time to kind of keep things going while you have this rookie quarterback to train him. Now, I think probably the QB coach is.
Yeah, he's got to go too.
You think?
He's got to go too. He's
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
Hold on.
I hate to tell you this,
think?
Kyle, but trying to find an owner that's going to pay the price that the Falcons are going to want to be sold. Not going to happen.
Well, it's fine. Like, if Arthur Blank stays, it's not the end of the world. But the only people like Arthur Blank could be questionable. Like he'll probably stay. I'm not going to be upset about that. The only person in management, and Anthony, you can attest this, that deserves to keep their job right now is Ryan Nielsen. That is the only person that I want to see on the coaching staff next year. That's it. The defensive coordinator. Nobody else.
I got you.
And the messed up part is we had a better than decent defensive coordinator in our head coach, and instead of keeping him on who would want to take a step back to DC, but still at least you get to keep your job. Instead of keeping him on, they ran him out of town on a rail, and now he's a half a hair away from being the NFC.
I mean, it's the same reason with like the Bears ownership won't change, and I don't think ever will be, because even though the Chicago Bears suck, because it's going into what the sometimes the way that they make their decisions, going into what Tina's saying, is because I don't think people realize we are a top 10 most valuable team across sports.
Believe that.
Our merchandise is off the hook.
We always make the top 10
out. Your season tickets were sold out for like 10 years. Your merchandise gets sold everywhere. So the McCaskies can just sit there and watch the money roll in. Because unlike other franchises like the Chargers, Bears fans are very, very loyal. They
They
will
are.
buy those tickets
Yeah.
no matter how bad you are. I mean,
so to sell a team going to NFL, it's so hard. Like even Atlanta, like it's so expensive. I mean, you went into it in a Tina's corner, like it is insanely expensive to buy an NFL
100%.
team. Like crazy. So I think you're better off. You and Anthony are better off just hoping that the ownership hires people, kind of how the Bears are hiring more football-minded people that me and kind of Nick kind of appreciate because they're just not good at it, right? So what you want?
Yeah, we're not. The McCaskies were never good at football management. They never were.
So what you want is So what you want is your owners, because I just don't see them selling a team just because the market for it. But what you want is hopefully they hire more football-minded people. You know what I mean? At the top that actually understands football management, so they can make better decisions with coaching, and you know what I mean. Like that will actually improve the team as a whole. Like I think that's the best you could hope for versus selling is that they actually hire football-minded people. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
100%. Let us move on though. We got and this is kind of an easy one because with the Cowboys and the Eagles, they're both in the playoffs. They're basically just playing to win a division, essentially, in that higher seed. And of course, if the Cowboys win, they clinch the NFC East. If the Eagles win, they clinch the NFC East. So it's just a matter of whoever wins. Now, if they both win, they're still both in the playoffs. And I believe the tiebreaker went to the Cowboys. If I did that right, hold on, let's see. Cowboys clinch the NFC East. Yeah, Dallas win or a Dallas tie and a Philly tie or a Philly loss. So yeah. So if both teams win, Dallas wins the division. They get the 2 or the 2, and then Eagles drop to 5, and then vice versa if it happens with them. So yeah. So Eagles, Cowboys, they're going to help themselves. Here's the big one too. Speaking of the Green Bay Packers, as it were, as we all know, they do play our beloved Bear, Delilah. Week 18 in Lambeau, where we never win, as we were talking about earlier. But Green Bay has a lot of scenarios here as well. In terms of playoffs. And obviously, if they win, they're in. Green Bay wins, that's it. But they also get in with a Green Bay tie, a Seattle loss or tie, and a New Orleans loss or tie, which is, again, a lot there to happen. Or with a Green Bay tie and a Seattle loss and a Tampa Bay loss. So now Tampa Bay also gets thrown into this mix for Green Bay. A Green Bay tie, a Seattle loss, and a Tampa Bay loss. Okay. Green Bay tie and a Seattle tie and a Tampa Bay loss. So now we got ties thrown in here too. Minnesota loss or a tie and a Seattle loss and a Tampa Bay loss. There you go. And this is a scenario, I guess, if they lose to the Bears, there's the other ways they get in. A Minnesota loss or a tie and a Seattle loss and a New Orleans loss. So essentially, all the Packers have to do, obviously, is win and they're in. That's not a big secret here, but I'm sorry, Delilah. I'm going to be honest. I know we've been, and especially you've been very critical, and rightfully so, of Eberflus and a lot of things that have gone on this year. But we're in a position to play spoiler, and I'm just feeling so optimistic in 2024 that I'm so looking forward to this new year that I'm hoping that carries our Bears, because also too, and I know self-grandizement here, but Sunday is my birthday. So I would love no better birthday present than for the Bears to just stomp on the Packers' playoff hopes and just eliminate them entirely. That would make me so happy. What do you think, Delilah? Is that going to happen for us? Are we going to do this? What do you think?
I hope your birthday wish comes true, but I just don't see it. We don't have good luck up there. It's just It's just like a curse. I can't remember. I think the last person who actually won up there was Jay Cutler.
Yeah, I think it was. Jay. Good old Jay. Cigarette in his mouth, Jay. Chilling on the sideline, right? This Jay.
Listen, he'll always be hilarious to me. I don't care how many people hate his guts. He is funny as heck. He made his wife's reality show way funnier to watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably made that thing watchable, right? That's Kristen Cavallari. She's not funny.
People tuned in for him. Like everybody talks about it. Like anyway, so, but yeah, I hope your birthday wish comes true. I just don't see it. I just we're cursed up there. This is up to the Packers. They want to make playoffs. They gotta, go through us. Do I hope that we spoil it? Yes. Will I be happy? If I'm wrong, I will be excited. But
Right.
still,
Oh,
just
exactly.
I'm not going to be upset, but I think Green Bay's got this one.
No, I think conventional wisdom, most people would go with Green Bay, honestly, at this point, because they are playing for the, thank you. Welcome back, Tina. Now here the Vikings still have a shot, even after being embarrassed by Green Bay last week. Minnesota, with a Minnesota win and a Green Bay loss and a Seattle loss and a Tampa Bay loss. So they really have probably a 10 to 15% chance with all these teams losing, and they have to win still. Or they Minnesota win, a Green Bay loss, Seattle loss, and a New Orleans loss. So really, there's a lot. The Vikings, and I don't think. And I'm going to just divert for a minute here, because I know you guys probably all. It was the Sunday night football game. Does anybody wonder why you started a rookie over? I mean, I know Nick Mullins maybe struggled with some interceptions, but the guy had threw for like 400 yards the week before, and you decide to go with Hall to start one of the most important games of your entire season, and then you bench him at halftime because he didn't do anything, and you bring Mullins in. Did anybody else find that strange? That what the hell Minnesota was doing there? Such an important game.
Vikings being Vikings.
That's
my friend's name for them. They call them the Vikings instead of the Vikings.
Okay.
So
Sure.
Who can
That's
explain
funny.
that?
That's
I
I
really
get
funny.
it.
As people have picked up, I have lots of little nicknames for things in the NFL.
I think that all this does to me is prove how important Kirk Cousins really was for that team, because he got me fun up for a while, like, oh, he's just mediocre, he's just okay, even though season by season he would always make like top 10 passer rating. It didn't matter. He would break all sorts of records, and people were like, oh, he's just okay, and I'm like, what? Like what? Like I'm like, why you say this? He's playing for the Vikings.
He's
But,
not the problem.
No, he's not.
No,
And
he's not.
This proved it. The fact that he went out and their playoff hopes got dashed away proves the fact that he was never the problem. And I think that's probably see, told y'all it wasn't me.
Wasn't me. No, certainly was not.
They gotta figure it out. I don't know. The thing is, I agree with Tina. We keep saying like, oh, it's coaching, but there's only so many coaches, right? Like how, it's just, there's only so many coaches to go around. There's only so many coaches to promote, to choose from.
Not for the Bears. We always hire first-time coaches. We'll hire anybody. Just come on down. You want a job? Come to the Bears.
And so it's
we hire first-time coaches.
But hey, as long as y'all don't mind sucking for a couple more years, I'll come apply. That'll be enough money for me to retire. Give me a guarantee deal.
Listen,
you guys and us at the Broncos love to get those new coaches and bring them over. And
bring them on over.
Joe Mina. Yeah, so I do question that decision. And they have an insane amount of talent on that team. That the fact that they didn't make the playoffs, even with backup quarterbacks. Look at what Cleveland did, right? I think that a lot of choices were made there that were questionable to me. I agree with you. I don't know what they were thinking. But like I said, there's only so many coaches to go around. But it's not Kirk. He ain't the problem. And how do you lose with Justin Jefferson? And how do you lose with Hockenson? And how do you lose with Montgomery? You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't make sense.
Because they kept getting injured.
If
the people keep getting injured, you're not. I mean, everything about the offense is about chemistry and being able to play with each other on a consistent basis and knowing like what your guys are. So, I mean, going to your point with Kirk is he knows where Jefferson likes to get that ball. He knows where this guy likes to get that ball. When you're putting in when you got to have rotating backup quarterbacks going in, then that changes everything. Your timing is off. And so I think they're a very talented team. They just haven't been quite to put it all together yet. So
and that's the thing. And Kirk isn't getting any younger though, so Minnesota has a lot of decisions they got to make in the next year. Well, they do about what they want to do at quarterback. It really, It's
Yeah.
going to come down over them.
I was
You know?
I was snorting at this thing that Sean put up, talking about how like they go out and the Vikings start going on their run. I think that's also because the Vikings at that point were kind of in the middle of the easy part of their schedule. So it depends on what your schedules look like when those things happen too.
True that. So, well, let us go back to the NFC South because, again, the Saints, who play in the division with the beloved Falcons of Kyle and Anthony, they obviously can win the NFC title with just a win and a Tampa Bay loss or a tie.
Book it.
Or if New Orleans happens to tie and Tampa Bay still loses. What did you say? What did you say, Andy?
I said,
Look at Ben's comment. But Ben's comment.
Oh, what is this? What
Blow
does Ben
every
say?
stadium up at that point.
Here's a unique scenario. What if Bucks, Falcons, Seahawks, and Packers all tie? Then what?
Well, you know, Ben, I'm glad you asked because I'm not answering. So, no, I'm just kidding. But you know what? I don't know if I have the scenario for that. I wrote down everything I could, man. I don't know if they all tie. What happens? That's a great question. I'd have to go through all my notes and figure that out, man. But leave it to Ben to come up with something like that. Like that just shows you the mind of Mr. Cornette because he likes to throw people for a loop every time he makes a comment. So the fact that you probably took 50 minutes of our show to come up with that, just to post that, because I haven't heard from you the entire show, and the one time you comment, it's that. So how long have you been cooking on that, Ben? Exactly. This is what I'm saying. This is the kind of stuff, exactly.
I think we can figure out Bucks and Falcons because if they tie, who has the win-loss record between them?
Right. No, as I said, the Saints, if they win. No, because it says the New Orleans tie the Tampa Bay loss.
You know what? Why not?
Why
not? It's been why not?
The Panthers. Here, let me continue with that one because the Saints says playoff berth. Because I wrote this down. What do you say? It's only took me a few minutes, Rosario. Okay, Mr. Cornette. Sure it did. So New Orleans gets in with a win and a Seattle loss or a tie and a Green Bay loss or a tie, or a New Orleans tie and a Seattle loss and a Green Bay loss. So New Orleans can tie and still get in. So there you go. There's one piece of that puzzle. Again, well, here the Seahawks figure into this too. Which this is the thing with the NFC. Like there's still, they went down to what, 9? I think it's 9 people. Like there's 2 teams that are on the bubble as of right now for this week. And that was Seattle and who was it? Seattle and Minnesota, right? Because Tampa Bay, like I said, Tampa Bay can clinch the NFC South very easily. They just have to win. Tampa Bay's in and that's no big deal. Or if they tie and New Orleans loses or ties. So for Buccaneers.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Atlanta was eliminated. What, Handy? I'm sorry. Say again.
Atlanta was eliminated from the coin toss during the game in week 1. We just go ahead and call it what it was. It was a wrap.
But see, here's the thing. That's the thing, though. Given all these this is why I think this is crazy, honestly, with Atlanta, because the only way it appears that they get in is if they win the division, because they lose all the other play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you win and those other things, you get in, but it's like if you don't win, then you don't get it because Tampa Bay has to lose for you to win the division.
Look, I'm cool with that. If we lose, we don't. Atlanta does not need to go.
Nope.
No. I'm saying like you could actually win the division. That's the only way to get into the playoffs for you is to win and for Tampa Bay to lose. If you win and Tampa Bay wins, you don't win. You don't get in. But I'm just saying, isn't that funny? It's either the division or nothing for you guys. That's it.
Right. Well,
so we get in.
Can Atlanta just do like Florida State and opt out?
Yeah.
We don't want it.
It's just your third stringers.
Third stringers. Do it Florida State
what would really be bad is if all of the first and second stringers opted out and Atlanta trotted the third stringers out there, and not only did they win, they won the division and won the wild card game.
Okay.
I'd be so mad. Oh my God!
I'd be so mad.
I'd be so
Arthur
mad.
Blank isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. If he does that one, Arthur Blank's Coach of the Year. Well, come on! Like I wasn't even voting for him.
Stop it! He shaved his mustache. He's getting serious now. Okay.
No, I know. But let's move on. We got the Seahawks, good old Seattle with Geno Smith and Drew Lock trading weeks. A couple, they can clinch a playoff berth with a win, of course, and a Green Bay loss or tie. So again, comes down to Seattle and Green Bay like it did last year, right? Seattle tie and Green Bay loss and a Tampa Bay loss or a tie. Again, Tampa figures into their scenario. Seattle tie or plus a Green Bay loss and a New Orleans loss or a tie. So Seattle really has to just win and have this again, have the beloved Bear upset Green Bay. And if Seattle wins, then Seattle goes instead of Green Bay, which would make me so happy on January 7th. So that would be great.
Well, you know who Seattle's playing? They're playing the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Well, yeah. But who did the Cardinals beat this past week, Miss Tina?
Any given Sunday, as you said earlier in the game.
They took care of the Eagles. I know the Eagles were pissed because they would have clinched the division had they won that game, I think. And so now you lost and tied with the Cowboys, and now you got to win and do all this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, the Cardinals
Eagles were looking to this game. They were not considering that Arizona would do things. So,
but if I'm not mistaken, isn't there 2 wins against the NFC East for the Cardinals because they beat the Cowboys earlier in the year?
Mm-hmm.
Then they beat the Eagles. So you beat the 2 best teams in the NFC East. I just think that's hilarious. Like, is it you only get up for the NFC East? Like, what is that, Arizona? Like, come on now. What's going on there?
There is no.
But yeah, it's no, it's just funny. Like, how does that happen? Yeah, no, but
they're a shell of their former self.
Yeah, pretty much. Real quickly, Tampa Bay, of course, we've already kind of picked their scenario. All they got to do is win and they're in. They win the division, and that gives them the 4 seed there in the NFC South. But they could tie, and then New Orleans could lose or tie, and then they still clinch the NFC South. So there you go. We already explained how Atlanta only has to absolutely win and Tampa Bay to lose for that, so that's done. But if they could also get Buccaneers could still obviously get a playoff berth with a tie and a Seattle loss and a Green Bay loss or a tie. So you know who the Cardinals didn't beat? Let me guess, Sean, would that be the Washington Commanders? I believe is what you're going for there, sir. Like, Nick Saban said if Atlanta doesn't want to be in the playoffs, he'll gladly have Alabama take their play. There's it. Yeah, sure. Wow.
Did he say that before or after they lost?
That's the
right, yeah.
Nah,
hey, Anthony, scenario. What if Nick Saban coaches Atlanta? Would you hate it?
I wouldn't be mad
Nick
at
Saban will never come back to the NFL. Sorry.
Yeah.
He won't. He already said he wouldn't.
After the stuff that came out of Jacksonville, he'll never. Players won't play for him again.
No, but the fact that he didn't want to draft Drew Brees and what happened, and then the next year Nick Saban was back in college football shows you everything you need to know. He's never coming back. You'll never see Saban walk an NFL sideline. Over. It's over for Nicky Boy.
Anyways, guys, I gotta dip out. I gotta go make dinner. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Bye, Kyle.
Every time, Kyle. You're welcome always. Thank you so much, brother. Have a good night. Thank you, Kyle. Have a good one. All right. So, well, there we go. I mean, we've been talking playoffs for almost an hour here, boys and girls, and I think we can all agree that there was so much parity this year in the NFL that there's so many scenarios here that could go this way or that way, and it just but I like to see it because honestly, I hate seeing the same teams every year. I'm not going to lie. I like to see a little different. I like to see things get shaken up a little bit. I like to see teams have to play in Week 18 and really fight and scratch and claw to get in. So I will be watching this weekend. I am off Sunday from work, so I'm very happy that I get to just sit back and watch some football finally. Like I can watch all day. Yes, Delilah, I'll probably be at my buddy's, even though we know all the Packers fans will be there. I think that's where I'm going to go watch the game on Sunday because if the Bears pull it off, I will be the most obnoxious guy in that entire bar with about 60 Packers fans crying in their beer. So I think that's the place to watch the game this weekend. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, guys, NFC, the NFL playoffs full effect. We're in Week 18. Obviously, next week when we resume our Tuesday night activity, we will definitely have a playoff preview show. I think that's the best way to go with us. Because again, could be a very interesting year. We could see a brand new team crowned as a champion. I don't see Kansas City repeating. Spoiler alert, but we'll see.
I was going to throw that out there. What do you think of the realistic chances of Kansas City not making it through the first round?
I think it's got to be about 85 to 90%. They don't make it. Well, out of the first round, or you're saying out of the so out of the first round, I think it depends
Depends
where
on who
they're
they're
seated
playing.
for sure. Who they play, yeah, it depends on who they're playing. Yeah, I agree with Tina 100%. But I don't think they're getting. I honestly don't think they'll make the conference championship game. That's my prediction.
I
I
don't
don't
think they'll
think this
make it
is.
past the Ravens.
Yeah, it's not their year. That's what I'm saying. I don't even think they'll make the championship game because I don't see it.
I don't see
Obnoxious?
it
No,
either.
not different. That's right, Ben. I'm a gentleman. I'm never obnoxious. What are you talking about? No, but yeah, no. I just
I don't
Kansas
see
City
it
just
either.
no. I don't. I think we definitely get a new Super Bowl champ this year. I don't even think the Eagles make it back. To be honest with you, I think the struggles have been they've been pretty. You've seen them and you just go, what is going on? Like, why can you not? These are games they won last year. The games they're losing this year are games they won last year. And that's what, and good teams find a way to overcome that. But I just think whether it's the hangover, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, Philadelphia just doesn't have it this year, and neither does Kansas City. And I don't think we'll see either of those teams in the Super Bowl this year. So that's just my opinion, of course, but we'll stay tuned for that one. But let us move on to our final segment of the evening. As you know, we always end the show with one last thought, and I just thought, given that is the new year, and we did talk a little bit about our own personal stuff last week for those who tuned in. So I thought this week it'd be more fun to kind of, it's a new year. What do you look for your team in the next year? Because honestly, outside of Anthony, who still has a chance to make the playoffs, even though he doesn't want Atlanta to make it, Delilah, our beloved Bear, will not make it, and Tina, your beloved Broncos will not make it either. But Anthony, I'll let you go first just because, again, I know how you feel. But in the new year, what would you like to see happen with the draft coming up in April as well? What would you like your Atlanta Falcons to do in this coming year?
I know what I would like for them to do. I know what they're going to do. The same dumb stuff. I caught myself, Mr. Spence. I wasn't gonna cuss on you. Very nice show. So I appreciate you letting me be a part of this program.
Tina's the potty mouth. You're good. Tina's the one who swears all the time.
I'm gonna give Tina a list of certain words, and then when I want to cuss, I'm just gonna point. I'm gonna point at Tina, and she gonna say it.
She's gonna say it for you.
Yeah, she'll say the dirty word for me. I just hold up one finger for that one. Yeah, they'll have numbers on them and everything. Anyway, the Falcons are gonna do the same dumb stuff they do every year. I would not be surprised if after the horrible year that we've had this year, that they retain the services of Mr. Mustache. He shaved his mustache off and showed a dedication to the team. Something dumb like that. Arthur Blank is a very, very wealthy man, a very, very an old wealthy man who he's got that in Home Depot. He's not paying attention to what the Falcons got going on. He probably doesn't even care who the general manager is right now. What I would like for them to see, I would like to see, it's very unrealistic, but since we're asking, I want to see a clean out. Everybody in here clean. If you on the upper echelon of the pay scale, clean your stuff and get out of my building and turn in your key card. That means the coach and all of his coaching staff is going to get evaluated on a person by person basis. The general manager and all of his staff, like the administrative staff and stuff like that. Like, we not firing the folks to answer the phones and things like that. But but folks is getting paid way too much money to do jobs that they're not doing. Yeah. All of them got to go. All of them got to go, and start fresh, and maybe get some fresh blood in there, and maybe it might spark something going on in Atlanta to maybe get some folks excited about winning. I mean, it wasn't that very long ago. I mean, it's only been 5 years since the Falcons were in the Super Bowl. 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are the laughing stock of the division, and that's saying something for a team that pretty much dominated the division for 7-8 years. It's insane. What changed other than the fact that you fired the coach and your offensive coordinator is now the head coach in San Francisco, and you're all of that kind of stuff. Your head coach is now the defensive coordinator in Dallas. Just dumb stuff. Stop doing dumb stuff. and hire somebody that actually knows football to help you with the draft.
Yeah.
Ooh, that one's shiny. I want that one. That one's the place kicker. Yeah, we get first round pick. You get $300 million guaranteed. I do some stuff like that. We might be all right. Although I will say Younghoe Koo was a good pick. I'll say that.
And he was what, cut by the Chargers after not even a year? He was cut early on by the Chargers. It was like, okay, you didn't see the potential, and I think the Chargers had some
hit the side of a barn.
Yeah, no, it's I know he didn't kick well, but yeah.
Probably was just Burns, but he was a good pickup. I honestly think they've got a lot of the parts there. Drake London, they got Pitts and Bijan, and they got Bijan to take all of the load off. Like seriously, just
no, I hear you, man.
I'd love to see him get back to just winning. What is it, 17 game season? If they could just win 9 games a season for a couple of seasons and build from there, that would be great.
Yeah,
anything other than this crap they've been putting on the field every year.
Sure, I can respect that, sir. Well, all right, Tina, how about you? Your Denver Broncos going. A lot of talk about a lot of things, but what's your opinion on, or what would you like to see this next year with your beloved Broncos?
Everybody keep their mouth shut and stop talking to the press would be one wish. Because every time there's another day, there's another story about this is happening here and that's happening there. I do think we made a step forward. I'm still not 100% behind Sean Payton, but I think he did do a good job with getting the team together. We did win 3 more games than we won the year before. So I know that's not a lot, but when your team is trash like it was, 3 games is a lot. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm right now. I drank the Kool-Aid because it's fun if you think you're going to make the playoffs, but I didn't think we were going to make it. So we were a little bit ahead on that, but we're stuck in a bad situation with our cap and a lot of stuff. So I think Patton, our GM, is going to have to pull a few rabbits out of his hat to get some changes. So a lot of people want us to try and draft a quarterback and everything. And I just kind of like what I said. I mean, we're going to be paying Wilson $87 million for the next 2 years.
That's a lot of money.
A lot. If it's not more, I'll talk about it on Mile High Minute. I'm going to bring it up. But there was Delilah's thing that she noted up on Let's Talk Football that I think is going to bite the Broncos in the butt next year. So we'll see what happens on that. But I just win more games. I'd like to this weekend beat the Raiders because that's the other team. We have a bad we have a bad thing with losing to them lately, and then next year just keep moving with what we have. Sure. That's me.
Tina,
all right. Yes.
I got a question. I got a question before you go. Keep going. Did you what flavor Kool-Aid was it you drank? I just wanted to know.
Glacier cherry.
Okay.
There you
go. But being a Broncos fan, the answer would be Orange Crush.
The Orange Crush. There it is.
I was going to say, if it was red Kool-Aid, that's the best Kool-Aid right there. Just red. Red.
Everything with Broncos is Orange Crush. Orange everything.
Orange everything. Yeah. All right, Delilah. So, our beloved Bear, there's a lot that I hope happens, but I'd like to get your opinion first about this upcoming year. What do our Bears do, dear? What do we do here?
I'd like us to make the most out of the fact that we have a first-round pick and not to use it selecting a first-round quarterback. I want us to actually use that number 1 pick. I agree with you to take whatever we can from whoever is desperate more than us.
Yeah.
I think that Justin deserves to finish out his rookie contract with us for 2 reasons. One, because I really do think he deserves another season. I think that the coaching he was under wasn't the right one. And I hope that next season we could see him using his athleticism that we know he has, running the ball more as well as passing. But then because once he finished out his rookie contract, he would be more valuable for us to trade next season versus this season with another year under his belt, hopefully a winning season. That's all I want. Listen, all I want is a winning season. I'm not asking for much.
No, I get it. No.
I'm not even asking for playoffs. Okay, give me a winning season. Give me a quarterback coach that understands Justin. Get me an offensive coordinator that doesn't hate his quarterback because it's so obvious. Or maybe not hate, that's a strong word. What I mean is that he doesn't fit the system of this OC, right? This OC is used to guys like Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I hope that the Bears do right by this team who's super talented. DJ Moore is a stud. And the fact that he hasn't been lights out every week since we traded for him is embarrassing and it's sad. Because as soon as he had his monster game, he walked off the field and he had to get drug tested, which happens. He's not the only player. There was another player also on Sunday that had a monster game.
J.D. Lamb. They made him take a drug test after that game.
Yeah. So, so when you have such a high caliber game that the NFL is like, all right, now you got to go drop, right? Then you should have been used more often, like way more than what you have. Our defense is coming together. We've been doing crazy stops. I mean, I just feel that the talent is there. Komet, I think, could be a really valuable tight end, and we don't use him right either. And so I feel that we have all the pieces. We just don't have the right coaches. I'm not saying Eberflus needs to leave as head coach. I think he'd be better as a defensive coordinator like he was before. I think that's what he's good at. That's his stuff. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong when your lane is that. You know what I mean? Your expertise is defense.
Yep.
Not head coach. So, we need a defensive coordinator because the other one left in shame. A lot of weird stuff happened with these coaches. They were doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing on computers.
Crazy,
and so what I hope is that they pick offensive coaches, quarterbacks coach, a OC and a head coach that has that mentality of working with the talent that we have. That's all I want. That's all I want. Okay, just no playoffs. Give me a winning season. Let's give Justin the chance he deserves. So we'll see.
No. I'm with you. And just quickly, I'll add, my biggest thing is, like you said, the draft for me is going to be the biggest thing. What do we get for that number one pick? Because we don't need a quarterback. And I'll say that again. We don't need one. We don't need to draft Caleb Williams or Drake May or any of that. Just take the pick and trade it. Get as much as you can for that number one pick. And my thing would be to free agency, because remember, we still have a lot of money in free agency. Pick up a veteran center. I know there's going to be a couple available. Pick up a veteran center and draft one so that the kid who's the rookie can learn from the veteran center and take over in 2 to 3 years when that veteran center's contract is up. We need a legit center. We haven't had one since Olin Cruz. That's one thing.
Right? It was Cruz, right? Yeah.
We need somebody to anchor. We need an anchor on that offensive line, and it's usually the center. And we need that desperately. We also need another edge rusher. So that's where the draft comes in. You got Montez Sweat now, and you got him for 4 years. That's great. Draft an edge rusher to go with him. You've shown some guys on the defensive line. Dexter has played well. Billings has played pretty well. Like, we have guys who can legit play the interior of the line. 2 stud pass rushers, I think, would put us over the top there. And we could probably use another corner. But draft is going to be the biggest thing for me. I want to see the Bears draft right again. I like what Poles did last year. I'm hoping I like what he does again this year. And that's my thing. If you can just, like you said, keep building and really solidify this team, I think we have something. And again, it's a possibility we win 8 games this year. That's an improvement. We won 3 last year. So we have the potential to win 5 more games than we won last year. You carry that momentum into next year with all the draft picks and everything you got, then you have the makings of a really great team. So to me, that's what I look forward to. I look forward to the draft. I want to see what happens. And I want to see this team just literally solidify itself. And again, I'm all for getting another offensive coordinator. You can let Luke Getsy walk out the door. Just let him go. You want to keep Eberflus? Fine. But get an offensive coordinator. Like, we need one badly.
And a quarterback coach.
Yeah, and take the quarterback coach with you too. And just we need someone that understands what Justin is, because he's not just a pocket passer, and that's not where he's going to be successful. So you trying to make him that is what really has failed us in these last 2 years. Last year he ran out of necessity. This year he didn't have to do it as much, and we all saw what happened. But anyways, that's all. That's what I want. So again, thank everyone for watching and commenting. We saw Alex Schomburg, Ben Cornett, Sean Spencer. Who else was in there? A couple other people I think might have been in there. Kyle Yacy, thank you so much, Kyle, for joining us this week. I'm sure Anthony was happy to have another Falcons fan on to air his grievances with the two Arthurs. The two Arthurs there in Atlanta. But again, guys, next week we will be back. We will do. We got a couple things working. We were talking in the comments. We got some stuff we're definitely going to bring up next week. So we look forward to that show. Again, I hope everyone had a great New Year. I hope you guys are all, whatever, working on your stuff. If you have resolutions, don't have resolutions, whatever you do, I just hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy, and I hope you're happy. So for Anthony Handy, Tina Winter, Delilah Crespo, I'm Nick Rosario. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.